Today, we're diving into a framework that really challenges the way we think about chronic disease. It's built around the work of Dr. Joel Wallach, and it basically turns a lot of conventional medical wisdom completely on its head. So, how are we going to break this down? First, we'll look at the pretty shocking diagnosis this framework makes about our current health system. Then, we'll dig into the root cause it says is behind why we get sick. After that, we'll cover the immediate actions it recommends, and finally, we'll put it all together in the wellness blueprint. So, right off the bat, this is the big question at the heart of the entire framework. It's really designed to make you pause and reconsider everything you thought you knew about health, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, the problem isn't our genes, but something we've been completely overlooking. All right, let's dive into part one, the diagnosis. According to this way of thinking, the very foundation of modern medicine is, well, flawed. And it starts by questioning the experts themselves.
So who is the person behind all this? It all comes from Dr. Joel Wallach, and his perspective is pretty unique because he actually started out as a veterinarian. The whole idea here is that the principles we use for animal nutrition might just hold the key to understanding our own human health.
Now, this is one of the most provocative claims in the source material. It targets the lifespan of doctors themselves. The argument uses this statistic to ask a really pointed question. Why would you trust the health advice of a profession whose own longevity is, supposedly, lower than average? And the critique just keeps coming. Get this number, 300,000. The framework cites a Ralph Nader study, claiming it found that this many deaths happen in the U.S. every year because of medical negligence in hospitals. It's another piece of evidence used to build the case against the conventional system. This slide really hammers home a central point of the argument. The framework claims we have higher nutritional standards for the feed we give to livestock than we do for human infant formula. It's a pretty startling comparison. Okay, so if the argument is that the conventional system has it all wrong, then what is the real root cause of disease? Well, this next section gets into the framework's central idea, that our bodies are quite literally starving for nutrients. You're going to see this number a lot, because really, the entire framework hangs on it, 90. This is what they call the mighty 90, the number of essential nutrients your body supposedly needs every single day, nutrients that it cannot make on its own. And here's what those 90 nutrients are made of. You've got 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and a couple of essential fatty acids. According to the source, if you miss even just one of these, it can eventually lead to up to 10 different deficiency diseases. So you might be asking, why aren't we just getting these from our food anymore? Well, the argument is that we can't, because our soil is depleted. Modern farming, it says, focuses on just 3 minerals, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, or NPK, because they make plants grow big and fast. But that doesn't mean they're packed with the 60 minerals we need. And this is where things get really interesting, especially when it comes to genetics. The framework brings up the science of epigenetics to argue that things like heart disease or diabetes aren't your destiny. The claim is really bold. What we call bad genes are actually just nutritional deficiencies that have been passed down from one generation to the next. Okay, so we've heard the problem and the supposed cause. Now, what's the fix? Well, according to this framework, you can't just start throwing supplements at the problem. First, you have to fix your body's ability to actually absorb those nutrients. So how do you do that? Well, the framework lays out 3 immediate action steps. The whole idea is to stop causing more damage and get your body ready to finally start healing. All right, step 1 is a big one. It's a total, zero-tolerance, gluten-free diet. The argument here is that gluten is the #1 enemy of nutrient absorption. It's claimed to damage these tiny, finger-like things in your intestines called villi, and that this happens even if you don't have celiac disease or any obvious symptoms. Okay, once gluten is out, the next step is to get rid of what this framework calls hostile foods. The claim is that these things actively create inflammation and oxidative damage in your body, which basically prevents it from healing and absorbing what it needs. And then there's step 3, which flies right in the face of decades of dietary advice. This framework directly challenges the low-fat myth. The source material makes this incredibly provocative claim that Alzheimer's is actually caused by a cholesterol deficiency, and it recommends eating high-cholesterol foods like eggs. So once you've cleaned house, so to speak, and you've prepped your body to actually absorb nutrients, we get to the final piece of the puzzle, the complete blueprint for rebuilding your health. So here's the core solution, the real linchpin of the whole system. With the barriers to absorption gone, the next step is to flood your body with all 90 of those essential nutrients using a targeted supplementation system.
But look, this isn't some magic pill that works overnight. The framework is really clear about this. It proposes a firm 90-day commitment to this whole protocol. Why 90 days? Because that's one full life cycle for your red blood cells, giving the body a real chance to rebuild and show significant change.
However, it's not quite as simple as just buying a box of supplements and calling it a day. The framework itself brings up a really important question. Why is personalized guidance so crucial to making this system work?
And the answer they give is that personalization is key. While the Mighty 90 is the foundation for everyone, specific health challenges from blood pressure to joint pain require navigating thousands of different protocols. So it argues you need an expert to help you dial in the right dosages and add the right secret sauces for your specific needs.
And that's it. That's the complete blueprint as it's presented in the Wallach framework. It takes you on a journey from a deep critique of modern medicine to a core belief in nutritional deficiency, and finally to a very specific solution based on absorption and supplementation. The whole message really boils down to the idea that you can take control of your health.